Super Soul Sisters yet again, and I must say I'm very humbled for the fact that our Super Soul Sister today is someone that is definitely going to be talking about Women's Day that is coming up. So many times we do talk about women issues, we do talk about women empowerment, but then again, what do some of these things mean to us, and why should we be talking about them? Rowena Kajumba is my name, and our Super Soul Sister is Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, and she is the Vice President of this amazing country. I don't just say amazing because I am seated next to the Vice President, but indeed we are pushing for everyone out there to know why we are part of this very cause. You're very welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the fact that you have given me the opportunity to interact with the Ugandans on the screen.
Indeed. So now the theme, as we are all talking about it, someone will even say we've talked about it for years and years and years, where we're looking at gender equality for sustainable tomorrow. Now this theme, like I mentioned earlier, some people will say, we've talked about gender equality for a little too long. But what does International Women's Day mean to you?
First of all, it's glad and very gratifying to note that Uganda again will join the rest of the world to celebrate the International Women's Day on 8th March this year.
Yes.
And the theme government has identified is gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. Yeah. Over the years, International Women's Day features the progress, but also the milestones which government has taken and achieved.
Yes.
In light of specifically the girl-child development and also the women development, and also encompassing them in the development process. Yes. So I think this year's theme, in my view, is timely and yet again a suitable theme to build on the so many achievements that have been made before, even if it looks like a theme that resembles so many other themes, and anyone can just say, how about this? Is it not the same as the one of yesterday?
Yes.
But the bigger spectrum should be to look at, so far, this is where we are. But also, the other way is where we came from. So it's a good theme, in my view, which I think everybody should embrace in light of how we are looking forward for a better tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. But so many people have said, why do we talk about equality? And so many people have thrown in equity, almost seemingly saying that equality may not be a possibility. Maybe we should look at other ways of going about it.
Why people think equality is an inappropriate word is because I think they misunderstand the context of how the word is being used. Because in my view, equality means that take the girl child and the boy child to school and let them all get their rights at the same time. So that when we are talking about universal primary education, universal secondary education, even university education, and any other government program, when we talk about equality, we say let boy children and girl children all receive what belongs to them as children and in an equal measure. That's the context in which we should understand that word, equality. And we should look at it in a positive way and not in a negative way. For instance, when government makes programs of political policies on the management and administration of units like in LC1 councils, in the villages, there are specific portfolios which are given to women at the village level so that they can come discuss with the men on equal table, same surface.
Yes.
That's the equality we are talking about. Sit there together, same surface, bring your ideas. You're a woman, this one is a man, but the ideas are all valid.
Yes.
So at the LC2 level, the same. Women are there. At the LC3 chairman, in every sub-county, women are there. In every LC5 councillors, again, women are there with men. But the word equality comes in by the fact that they all sit down, contribute equally.
Yes.
We do not sideline one idea because it's from a woman or from a man. We say, let those ideas be there on the table on equal measure, and then they take the direction which they wish to take on consensus. Yes. But after they have all given them the equal platform to express their views. But also, you see in parliament as well, every district has a woman member of parliament. I am also a beneficiary of that. Because of that, then, I can be able to articulate in parliament equally like the man who came from the county. So that is the angle in which you should look at that word, equality. Yes. It is not a negative word that discriminates one from the other, or which wants women to overcome the authority which is God-given to men by God. It should be that we want to have a balanced forum or fora or platform where we all come, make our arguments, and then we take a direction together as human beings. But you can also see now in cabinet, again, there is women and men. It's not that women want to override men, no. But it's just that women sit in cabinet together with men and discuss national issues on equal measure as members of cabinet. But there is no discrimination. Say this is a woman's idea, this is a man's idea. No, the idea should be put on table on equal measure, and then the direction again on consensus is agreed upon.
But then again, one would wonder, because how the society in which we come from, government is doing their level best. You're putting all these measures, as you have told us. But then the society in some parts, so we are still struggling with these things. How do you see that society has sort of hindered the faster movement of these things actually being more firm and us taking bigger steps?
In Africa is patriarchal by nature. Long ago, in some cultures, a girl would not go to school. But as we speak now, in all cultures in Uganda, they know that a girl is as valid as a boy, and she must attend school, she must go to a meeting, and she must participate in the development process. So it is you and my responsibility to continue reminding that patriarchal thinking, especially in areas where they are static, also to understand that if we are to move, to develop in a way which moves in tandem with the rest of the world, we must involve the girl child and a woman in participating in the processes of the day-to-day life.
Now, Your Excellency, you've talked about patriarchal society, true. I've been hearing a lot of people in this drive to empower and help women and young girls that we are leaving behind the boy child. How is the boy child going to be prepared for an empowered woman or an empowered young girl out there?
To some extent, it is indeed true that we have spoken so much about girl child, empowerment of women, empowerment of the females, and to a very big extent, the girl child has come up in many ways, and in a positive way, and for the good of the country anyway. But in some areas, there are pockets which have come up very loudly to say that we have forgotten the boy child now. And in some schools, if you actually visit, you will find that the enrollment of girl children is more than that of boy children. But when we are discussing the issues of boy child, girl child, we are saying let them be 50-50. And the question is, why have the boys now started declining? So the issue should be, do not drop the idea of promoting the empowerment of a girl child. But let's also handle the issue of the promotion of the boy child hand in hand with where the girl child now is. Because for the girl child to be successful in any positive venture, there must be the participation of the boy child at the same time. So I would like to see a country where both girl children and boy children are taken care of in equal measure.
Indeed. And also most Ugandans would term this feminism. Yes, there's been misconception about the move, the push for helping women, become better, help them reach a certain level of empowerment. And now, especially, we're going towards Women's Day. People are now saying, those are feminism things. Those are feminism things. Constantly having a misconception or misunderstanding of this idea. And then saying, they're spoiling the girl child now. Yes.
Yes, I hear also voices which are coming up that the attention is being drawn too much into the feminist, and at the same time there are some who are very outspoken, and the thinking is that maybe now the females would like to claim that they can pull it off alone by themselves after all. But I think the idea is that we should come back again to the correct perception. For any development to take place, we must share together. And the feminists who speak so loudly about the girl child have factors that have influenced them to speak like that from childhood. And they will want to make it loud and clear at whichever fora that there must be a way for the girl child, even when the way is already there. So I think it's very important that the boy children and the men recognize the fact that the females are not about being full of themselves. They are about showing the capacity that they also have to contribute together with men on the process of development. But it's not about splitting the two. It's about working together and underscoring the challenges that we are faced with in the same line.
That brings me back to what we had talked about, that the society has, as much as we are changing, there's certain values and the way, people look at things in the setup like this, where you're saying, no, the woman should be empowered. It's not just about a feminism point, but it's about helping them be better for themselves. And someone will tell you, no, I will not have a working woman, or my daughter I'm not going to waste school fees on taking my daughter to school, even in this day and age. Also, you find that in workspaces, they'll say, we'll pay the woman less. Let's pay the man more because chances are high she'll be sick half the time, or there's so many reasons anyway. So this obstacle, if I could use that term, I don't know if it is, but of the setup in which we come from.
Yeah, in as far as I know, there are so many examples of men who have deliberately demonstrated the fact that they have a zeal in ensuring that the girl child is brought up and the women are also protected and given empowerment. But also, what you are saying is that there are isolated cases who still think that the woman, even if she has finished her university education, should go back and stay at home and be a housewife. And also some who think that taking the child to school may be counterproductive. And also some who think that even joining the army, they don't allow their children, who are girls, to join, and also some professions, even politics. But I wish to state that those are isolated cases. Those are very few and very isolated cases. And that's why the celebration of this International Women's Day comes in tandem. It comes in handy. Because then those pockets who are isolated, who still don't see the value of engaging the girl child as the world is now presenting itself, will keep on seeing the examples. We'll keep on seeing where women came from. And also we'll keep on seeing other examples of men who are at the forefront of promoting girl children.
Girl children, yes.
Like every other International Women's Day, there are those role models who are exposed, and then those isolated cases who are still very, very rigid will also change their mindset and also start giving attention to the interests of the girl child as far as it's acceptable today.
So, Your Excellency, there's still certain levels of, if I could use the word discrimination. And we've had so many women complain, for example, like I mentioned earlier on, the gap in pay, whereby an employer will bring in people and say, I think the man will be more productive just by thought, you know, than the woman. So let me give him this and give her that, considering, you know, the different biological setup.
The issue of discrimination against women in
the
places of
workspace,
work or other areas, in my view, still goes back to the mindset, the attitudes of such individuals.
Yes.
But I think the major thing is still to go back and impact on the psychological thinking of those individuals, so that it's not just about the law, the policy, but it's just about understanding that when you employ a woman must go for a maternity leave, for instance, because those are some of the things that make them think a woman they lose a lot of time when a woman has gone for a maternity leave, when a woman has fallen sick. But it's good to make them understand that a woman does not get pregnant by herself. So it still comes back to
both of
we
them.
can do it together. After all, the woman gets pregnant because she has a husband, and the husband is not a woman but a man. Then the baby who is going to be born may be either a man or a woman. So I think it's very important to have these policies and laws in place which protect the women, but it's also good to keep on impacting on the psychological attitude and thinking. But also for women who have the opportunity to have those offices or those businesses to show cause that they can excel in those offices, so that the men can see that, after all, what the output that women can produce in the office is the same as that men can produce.
Can actually also produce, yes. And quite often people have said, we've been on this journey, but it's a never-ending journey. It seems like people seem to have figured or thought, we're going to keep talking about this for the next couple of years. And we've seen young people almost give up because I was born a girl, I was this, and things like that. What can you say out there to the people? Because as far as I know, a journey can never be an ending journey.
Yes, and it is very true that the challenges the girl child faces, especially in Africa, are more heavier than those of a boy child. But I would like to call upon, I think, all of us to be pillars in supporting the girl child, first and foremost. But also it's very important that the girl child should know and take it upon herself that she should be the first to take the correct decisions all the time about where she would like to go. But the society around her should always find a way of giving her attention and support, so that she's encouraged to move on with the boy children, whether it's school, whether it's office, whether it's outside during social gatherings, and so on and so forth.
One thing that I really want us to talk about before we wind up is we've been grappling or suffering or dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Children have been at home, they've not been studying. But yet again, you will hear it is the girl child that has gone through the bigger punch. So many young girls have got pregnant within this time. Some of them, no chance to go back to school, but maybe some could be lucky to go back to school. So the teenage pregnancy that we've probably talked about before has now become a bigger problem. If you have something to say.
The COVID-19 created so many challenges in many different angles to the people in the world, but also different groups of people. Like, you know, that many people lost lives, and among those who lost lives were the elderly, because they had low immunity. So it's not that COVID-19 affected only the girl children, but you can see we lost many elders across the world. When they give you statistics, it's the elderly who died. So that was bad. But also, on the side of girl children, the biggest impact on them came because at the time of those between 14 years and 18, 13, 14, up to 18, those are people who are adolescents, and at that age they are very active. And COVID-19 came 2 years down the road. They were not at school, and they were in the villages and in their homes, even if they are in towns. So they were exposed to so many situations which cost them, many of them, in thousands, by the way, to get pregnant. And those pregnancies are called unplanned for pregnancies. And now schools have opened. Some of these children are breastfeeding. Some of them are still pregnant. And the policy of government is that a person under 18 is a child. And all of them are considered to be school-going age.
Every district has rates of teenage pregnancies. The minimum is 2,000. Minimum. Kampala has 8,000 teenage pregnancies. Wakiso has 10,000. Mukono has 7,000. Busoga, the East has other higher rates. It is an escalation. It's a pandemic. So we had a pandemic within a pandemic. What do teenage pregnancies mean? They mean defilement. They mean massive. Ladies and gentlemen out there watching this program, these girls have been defiled. Unfortunately, some of the victims have been raped, have been defiled by the people who are supposed to take care of them, including fathers, shameless.
The reason I'm saying it's a difficult conversation, because I hear people talk about it lightly. That a child should go, allow pregnant girls to go to class. So, you know, when a person is pregnant, you want to throw up. Everything is smelling horrible for you. You know, it's a very difficult situation. So you allow this girl to go in class. She's not even listening, because maybe her neighbor is even smelling bad, or she didn't eat, she's hungry, or you know how you feel. Women will understand how you feel. I don't think that you've got your capacities together to concentrate in class. The mere fact that you, or if the child starts kicking, now the child is kicking, it started kicking. You are listening to the teacher, and then boom, the kid is, is kicking you on the side. And maybe you don't even know now you are late.
Please, parents, ensure safety for your children, ensure safety for your girl child. The first failure is at home level. The second failure is at community level.
I don't know how you handle this when you are also have to concentrate like everybody else. Because the teacher is not going to single you out and say, please, let's wait for so-and-so to finish vomiting. Or let's wait for so-and-so because she's not feeling well. You are holding others back, or they are leaving you. And when they leave you, they will say you are stupid. When they're not really. You're smart.
So how about having the option of you can always go back and start from where?
Absolutely. I think that's what we should do, emphasize. And when you have a child, your breastfeeding, are you going to go with a child to class when you're breastfeeding? Where are you going to leave the child? So when you are pregnant, your mindset should be nurtured to be a mother, a good mother, because a good mother is important for the well-being of the child. Your mindset is good for the welfare of the child. And that's where you start. This child also who is neglected because her mother went to school, now you're also raising somebody who is going to have issues right from childhood. So I think that this is a conversation that we should approach with depth. It's not just about going to class and writing an exam. It is deeper than that.
We have a lost generation out there. The ministry has passed a decision that they should, pregnant girls should be allowed back in school, teenage mothers should be allowed back in school, but they do not have an implementation framework. And many of the church-founded schools, I don't see them integrating these people based on their values.
That is true.
So what are we doing? What is the alternative of skilling these girls to make sure they can sustain themselves and the young families they formed, but also prevent them from getting pregnant again prematurely? Because we know that some of the teenage mothers got pregnant again.
I beg our leaders, especially in the education department, leading the curriculum, think about this deeply, allow them to go through, support. What we should tell parents and the community is to support the children to go through this period successfully. They will lose a year or two. What's a year or two? They've already lost it to COVID.
Then they can go back and start.
Then they can go back and settle down. We need to work on their mindset that you can lose a year or two, then go back and start from a clean slate. When you have not been forced to fail because you're pregnant.
Government policy is that no one should be denied the right to education. And therefore, pregnant or breastfeeding, they are entitled to the education. And those that are breastfeeding, encouraged at least to find someone to take care of the child at home, even if to be the grandmother, but at home, then they must return to school, but continue commuting from home so that they can take care of they can breastfeed the children, like the way working mothers do. Then those that are pregnant were all recommended that they all report to their respective schools. Because when they go to their schools, there is a senior woman teacher. There is a male teacher also. They have a way, first and foremost, of counseling those children because they need a lot of support. They counsel them. Some schools actually can make arrangements for them to do their study in a most appropriate manner. Because there are those voices which came up, how do you mix them, how do you do this? But the Constitution is saying they have a right to education. Their parents should take them to school, and they can be helped administratively from school. Because even if you tell them that first produce and then come back, you have not counseled the child. You have not given her a smile. You have not even told her that first come to school even if you're pregnant. It's not a crime. And then you just talk like you will cause so many psychological and stigma to many of the children, which can become other consequences in the long run. So COVID did what it did. All those children are still Ugandans. They are still entitled to education, and they must all report to their respective schools, and they will be helped accordingly.
Super Soul Sisters, as we come to an end here in discussing a number of things in regards to the Women's Day celebrations, and it does not end on the day of celebration. This is something that we need to constantly talk about and engage in, and of course, as you've heard Her Excellency saying, we need to take it upon ourselves because this is a journey that is never ending. Just a reminder, we are always at Daughters Exclusive to give you the Super Soul Sisters. And of course, Your Excellency, when we talk about Women's Day, or not just Women's Day, why is it important? Why do you think, or when you talk to the Ugandans out there, why should it be important for them to be a part of that particular day and also the cause?
Out of the so many days in the year, the planners and the framers of the International Women's Day decided to just identify one day.
Yes.
And I think by just identifying one day in a year, it should bring in all our minds. We should all ask questions. How and why did those women, or including men, there were men in the team of people who decided to create the International Women's Day. Yeah. So I think, in my view, we should first and foremost appreciate the fact that we do so many things together as men and women. But now, as International Women's Day is celebrated every year, we should consider it as a very important day. That's why government made it a public holiday, yes, so that we can count our achievements, take track of what we have achieved, yes, as a country because of the involvement of women. We have just done the parish development model, where we are saying that 100 million shillings will be sent to a parish, and out of that 100 million, 30% is for women. Oh, that's good. So it all builds up. What is happening in our health centers, in our hospitals, on the maternal health of women? What is happening in our hospitals in immunization of children? Because women are the ones who carry children. What is happening in the transformation process is in as far as other services of government to women, like the provision of water, because we know that women are the ones who always look for domestic water in villages. So are we there in terms of giving them all the boreholes per village as as per our policy? Okay. Are we there in terms of providing them with the cooking gas for cooking, or
because
fuel for cooking? It's because what women do complements what men do. Yeah. What women do makes better what men have initiated. We should appreciate the efforts of His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is a key architect on the liberation of women, women empowerment, from the child up to the women and the elderly.
And that reminds me of something as we wind up, as we go to our last conversation. Someone once sang a song and said, it's a man's world, but it would be nothing without a woman or a girl. And exactly what you said, what the men do are complemented by the women. So your final words, Your Excellency, to the young girls out there, the women that are determining or pushing themselves to become something better, especially coming from a leader.
My last advice to the young girl child and also women is that you are equally as intelligent, you are equally as valuable, you are equally as important as the boy child, as a man. And you can do so many things by being confident about yourself, by being disciplined on whatever you do. Humble, humility earns you a lot, and by being very organized and keeping time. But most importantly, by being a team player. Being a team player amongst your peers. You can even say a team player amongst girl children and boy children, but also amongst every other team that you find yourself in.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Your Excellency. She has managed to squeeze us in and get time for us to talk about the Women's Day and the Women's Month. Remember, Super Soul Sisters focuses on women and what they do and what they can do, and so many greater things they can do. So it's an opportunity for us to actually expound on this and have our special edition here in regards to Women's Day. And of course, today's Super Soul Sister is Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, who is the Vice President of this amazing country. I'll repeat this every time. I keep telling people, this is a good country, but it also comes back down to us at the end of the day. Super Soul Sisters, my name is Rowena Kajumba. Till next time, bye.